Okay, switching gears a little bit this week, guys. Week 6 of 14. Um, Backed off a little bit last week. Did a couple. You did go heavy, but it was overall a little bit of a back off, change of pace. Definitely more of a change of pace coming in this week. So be ready for that. The biggest change is we're transitioning into um, more regular full snatches and clean and jerk. So if you're on the 5 and the 4 day week program, you're going to see 2 regular snatches in there per week, 1 regular clean and jerk, but also a heavy clean from the block with a jerk at the end there. So be ready for that, and we'll kind of continue on with that throughout most of the rest of the cycle, the 14 weeks, actually adding in a little bit more as we go. But of course, you'll have some back off weeks in there where you'll kind of take a break from that a little bit. So a couple other exercises that I want to talk about. One, the squats. I know those are getting a little bit tough. I'm seeing some of you guys go through that and with some feedback. So I'm trying to keep some ranges in there for you guys. And obviously, don't be afraid to stay back at the low end of those ranges. You don't have to do any sets at the high end if you're not feeling it that day. That being said, if you're feeling good, or if you know confident that you can get those in, then go up and get to those the heavier side of those ranges. Definitely with the range there, what we want is a little bit of ability to go with how your body is feeling, how your body's recovering, how your body's doing as a whole, and that goes for any of the other exercises as well. Muscle snatches, we've been doing muscle snatch just from this standing position, so initiating with shoulder and heel lift, but now we're going to be going from the knee. A couple things I want you to make sure of going from the knee. Get to that same position that we talked about in the standing position. Hopefully you guys have been paying attention. We want internal rotation of the shoulder, meaning bend of the elbow pointing out. Now we want that without the shoulder rolling. So what you can do is roll your shoulder in, bend the elbow pointing out, so your elbows are out and in position to keep that bar close as you pull it up and over the top, or as you pull under. But bend the elbow up. If it rolls your shoulder forward, try to keep your elbow pointed out and then pull your shoulder back. A lot of times, or I would say most of the time, athletes can do that. Now, if you're not able to just to find a good quality position with your shoulders and your upper back with the elbow in or with the elbow out, then just get into the best position you can with that same good shoulder position. But most likely you'll be able to find that position in some way. So get there and then go down from there. All right. As usual, going down to touching the top of the kneecap. I want you to make sure as you're coming up that you're keeping the bar close, especially for a muscle snatch. Go ahead and brush the thighs up if that's what you need to do to make sure that you're keeping it close. Come into contact and up over the top. Now, it's not wrong to do a muscle snatch with no contact. That's definitely an exercise that's possible and a good drill for some people that maybe, for example, kind of bump the bar and push it out and around all the time. If you know that you're one of those individuals and you're confident that you can confirm that, then definitely you can use muscle snatch with no touch, meaning not contacting at the hip here to help smooth out your extension a little bit in your regular lifts. If you have any questions on that, you're not sure, maybe send us a message and we'll see if we can help you out. But the way that it's written for most of you guys in general is going to be a muscle snatch from the knee with contact. So make sure you're getting that contact in, and from that contact, work on keeping that bar close and pulling it up over the top of your heads. All right. Getting into more power jerks. This week you're going to be alternating back and forth between a heavier set of 2 and a lighter set of 2. So waves there, and on the down wave, I believe it's 60%. You're going to be pausing in the bottom of your dip. So you'll be here, dipping down nice and slow, pausing for 2 seconds in the bottom of the dip. I want you to make sure that when you're doing that your shoulders are setting over the top of your hips. Also, we don't want to see this in the setup, arch in the back. We want to see that straight body alignment, and we want to see that straight torso here as well. So none of this, want to be in that straight position. If you're not sure, then get a video on yourself, take a look at it, do some wall dips. There are wall dips, I believe, indicated in the program this week, so throw those in here, or extra sets of those in here if you need to make sure that we have that straight dip. And we want to carry that straight dip because you have more control over it, obviously, with the pause. We want to carry that straight dip over to the ones, the power jerk sets that you're not pausing on. It's very, very important for you guys to get that in and working correctly on that. We have overhead quarter squats this week. We've done these before. I just wanted to reconfirm that the overhead quarter squats, that's where power rack, you're going to set the bar at somewhere around forehead height or top of the head height. You're going to lock out those elbows, squat down, and then stand up. Back down and reset, hold briefly, and then stand up. So it's a tough position, tough range of motion for a lot of people. If you're lacking mobility, if you're having trouble locking those elbows when you're picking it up, or keeping the elbows locked and you're just too tense overhead with the amount of weight that we want to use on these overhead quarter squats, bring the weight down and use a weight that you can lock out your elbows, that you can that you can create and hold a good quality overhead position with in this standing position, not only in the standing position but picking it up. If you're just unable to do that at all, make sure that let's replace those overhead quarter squats with just some overhead mobility, and we've given you lots of overhead mobility, barbell mobility, or we have the overhead medicine ball stretch, or the overhead plate stretch laying on a bench. All those things you can do in place of that or along with that to try and improve that as you alternate between sets. All right. This week we are doing some behind the neck split jerk sets, and alternating with those, we're going to be doing a split jerk method, or a lunge method to find your split position and hold it. So basically what we're doing there is you're going to get down into a lunge position, and as you'll see on the video that's attached, we're going to make sure in this position that you're lined up correctly. So feet are going to be at least shoulder width apart here, vertical shin here, knee, hip, and shoulder are in perfect alignment. From there, you're going to stand straight up, lock out your knees, break back down slightly, and you're going to hold in this position. Typically, if you do that correctly, I've not ever seen this put somebody in a really good or their ideal split position. But what we want to feel in this position is more on the trail leg here. So you should feel tension here. Again, shoulders over the hip. Shouldn't really feel the front quad or the front leg supporting any at all. If you are, then you're too far forward. So from this position, you're going to hold it for the indicated amount of time. Recover front foot back. Bring that back foot up to meet in the middle after you step back first. But we want to get that hold in, and we want to obviously hold in that good position. So make sure that you know how to do this. Make sure you're doing it correctly. Again, get yourself on video if you need to make sure to ensure that you are in the proper position, because obviously there's no sense in holding in a position that we're not looking for. That's just going to reinforce that same out of position when you go do the behind the neck split jerk. So pay attention as usual to the specifics of the exercise that are shown on the video. Read up on that where you're able to, and let's get that in correctly. All right. One thing for the behind the neck split jerk, and really anything from behind the neck, for example, behind the neck when you're doing drop snatches or snatch balances from behind the neck, when you're doing power jerks from behind the neck or split jerks from behind the neck, it's really easy to dip down and only stand about halfway back up. Take a look at that. Take a video and look at that, because it's very common. Probably 90% of the time or more, I see somebody dip down, stand halfway back up, and then go under from that position. So make sure that you're really over exaggerating that flow to that extension from behind the neck there. Okay. Talked about the squats already. I think I'm not sure if I did or not. If I did, just take this as a second reminder. But I want to make sure that you guys are just continuing to grind on those. I know that there's getting tough. There are going to be, again, there's ranges in there, and now remember I did talk about them. There's going to be ranges in there, but there's also going to be pieces of relief coming up in the weeks to come. So just keep grinding away, do the best you can on there. We'll survive it. We'll obviously be better off for them overall. And as we start to back off and go into different squats, you guys will feel the benefits of all the work that you've been putting in. So that's all we have for week 6 of 14, and we'll be back next week for week 7. Take care, guys.